Hi, it's John Vu, and this lesson is on Le Freak by Chic from Trinity College London, Rock and Pop Drums, Grade 4. So looking at the sheet music in the book, you've got the song title at the top of the page, and above that it says Technical Focus. So this is one of the technical focus pieces in Grade 4. Beneath that, it says intro in a box there, let you know the first section of the song is an intro. And then beneath that, we've got the style or genre of the piece. So it says disco. And then beside that, it says a quarter note equals 120. So that's the tempo of the piece. So this piece is 120 quarter note beats per minute, which is a fairly upbeat, fast tempo, which is common in this genre of music. And then beside that, it says 2 bars counting in brackets, letting you know when you play it with a backing track, there's going to be 2 bars of counting before the track starts. Okay, so remember that your counting sets the tempo for you, so you know how fast to play when you come in. Okay, so looking beneath that, the first bar of music, you see the percussion clef there, let you know it's drum notation on the stave, and then we've got the time signature, which is 4/4. So we've got a 4 at the top, which tells us there's 4 beats in the bar, and the 4 at the bottom tells us each one of the beats is a quarter note. So that's the note value of the beat. Okay, so we've got 4 quarter note beats in the bar, and then looking at that first bar, you can see it's not a full bar of 4 beats there. So we just got 1 beat in that first bar, as that first bar we can see is a pickup bar or an anacrusis. Okay, so that leads into the first bar of music. So that very first bar we can see there, that's 1 bar long. That isn't the first bar of music, that's the pickup or anacrusis leading into bar 1. Okay, so as it's 1 beat long and we're in 4/4, that's going to be the 4th beat there. So you can see we've got a quarter note rest in the top rhythm, and then the bottom rhythm on the bass drum there, we've got an 8th note rest on the downbeat, 8th note on the upbeat. So we're going to come in on the upbeat of 4 in the pickup bar, the anacrusis. So we're just going to hit that bass drum on the end of 4, which will be the second bar of the counting. Okay, so we'll hear the counting 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we play that and of 4. Okay, just before the 1 of the first bar. Okay, so we'll play it here. So we've got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the first bar starts, which is the full first bar there, which is the official bar 1 of the piece. Okay, after the pickup bar or the anacrusis. Okay, so in the first bar of music there, we've got a bass drum on the 1. Okay, so we're playing a downbeat of 1, and that's the only bass drum in the bar, and then we've got a hi-hat and snare drum rhythm above that. So we've got an 8th note rest on the downbeat of 1 on the hi-hat, then we play the end of 1, so we're going to play that right-handed. Then we come down to the snare to play an 8th note on a downbeat of 2, so the right hand's going to drop down to play that snare. Then we've got a right-left playing the and out of 2 on the hi-hat. Then we've got a right-left-right, so we've got a 3E and on the hi-hat, 2 16th notes and an 8th note. Right hand drops back down to play the backbeat on 4 for an 8th note, and then goes back up to play right-left on the and the of 4. Okay, so that hi-hat and snare drum rhythm, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you want to get used to that hi-hat and snare, which hands play which notes. Okay, so the right hand plays downbeats and ands, left hand plays e's and as. Okay, so bringing in the bass drum as well in that bar, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then into the next bar, bar 2. So it's a 2-bar groove. In the whole of this song, okay, it's made up of 2-bar grooves. So in the second bar, very similar groove. So hi-hat playing 1E and right, left, right. Right hand drops down to play the snare on the 2, then goes back up to play right, left on hi-hat on the and the out of 2. Then we've got right, left, right to play the 3E and again, drops down to play the 4, and then we're back up for an 8th note on the hi-hat, okay, with the right hand, 4 and. Okay, so a similar rhythm, but it is different. So we've got a bass drum there just playing that final upbeat, okay, the and of 4, which would be with that hi-hat as well in unison. Okay, so playing that bar, bar 2, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if we put the 2 bars together, bars 1 and 2, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so get comfortable with that, and like I said, make sure you know which hands are playing which notes. Get really comfortable with that. And then you can see we just need to add in the open hi-hat. So the open hi-hat is on the end of 1, and then we close it as we play that backbeat on 2. And then we've got another open on the end of 3, and then we close it as we hit that backbeat on the 4. And we've got the same open hi-hats in the second bar as well, the end of 1 and the end of 3, and we're closing on the backbeat again. Okay, so remember, snare drums playing backbeat by itself, so there's no hi-hat with it. So we need to shut that hi-hat, so pedal goes down as we make contact with the snare on the backbeat on the 2 and 4. Okay, so you'll get this. Okay, so close as you hit the snare on the backbeats. So we're going to put those 2 open hi-hats in now, okay, to play bars 1 and 2. And I tell you what, we'll put the pickup note in as well on the and of 4. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the 2-bar groove there with the pickup bar. And then looking at the next 2 bars, we've got pretty much the same groove, but because it's not the start of the piece, we haven't got that pickup note, okay? So that pickup note going into the first bar just changes up the start of the 2-bar groove there. So if you look at bars 3 and 4, we've got the full 2-bar groove there, okay? So the difference is you're playing the hi-hat on the downbeat of 1 of the first bar. Okay, so we're going to put that in now to play bars 3 and 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the 2-bar groove of the song. Okay, the main groove of the song. So we want to get that down, and if we loop it, we're going to hear that bass drum rhythm, okay, playing the upbeat of 4 and the downbeat of 1, like you had in the pickup, okay, going into the first bar of music. Okay, that and 1. So you're really going to hear that, and that and 1 is the melody of this part of the song. Okay, so it's really important you hit that and 1. That's why that's the only 2 bass notes in the groove. Okay, they're like hits to really complement the melody of the song. Okay, so if we loop bars 3 and 4 to really hear that and 1 rhythm on the bass drum, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so really hear that. And then in the next 2 bars, for bars 5 and 6, you're playing the same 2-bar groove there. And in bars 7 and 8, you've got the same 2-bar groove, but we just end with a 1-beat fill. Okay, so the 1-beat fill at the end of bar 8 is 8th note and 2 16th notes on the snare drum. So you're going to play that right, left. Okay, and we've still got that bass drum on the and of 4 there. So that's going to line up with the right hand on the and of 4. So that 4th beat, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so get that bass drum in on the and as well. So we'll try those 2 bars, bars 7 and 8, just to get that feel, get a feel for that feel. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and a double bar line there brings us to the end of the intro. Okay, so we're going to put the whole intro together now. So you want to get that 2-bar groove down, get comfortable with the rhythm, which hands play which notes. So get used to that right hand coming down to play the backbeat. So remember, it plays the downbeats and the ands. Left hand plays e's and as. Okay, and one of the technical focus elements for this song is hi-hat articulation. Okay, so remember, articulation means how the note sounds. Okay, so it's your job as the drummer to get a nice clean sound from the hi-hat. Okay, so to do that for this genre of music, you want it to be really neat and tidy. So you want to play with your tip of the stick on the top of the cymbal, the face of the cymbal. Okay, so you don't really want to cut into it with the shoulder of the stick. Okay, you want it nice and crisp and tight. So you want to get that articulation from the hi-hat and make sure all those 16th notes are really even sounding. Okay, so you're not getting some notes louder than others. Okay, everything's nice and clean, so you get a nice stick height from both sticks. You don't want to be too close to the hi-hat, okay? So again, that isn't good articulation, okay? You want that nice stick height there to produce nice, clean articulation, okay? So make sure you're doing that because it's very specific. Well, you have to do that for this genre of music. Be really clean on the hi-hat. Okay, so as a drummer, you need to develop this skill anyway, and obviously it's a technical focus element in the piece as well. Okay, so you want to bring that in to this intro and to the whole song. So we're going to try the whole intro now, and just making sure we've got that hi-hat articulation. And another part to articulate on the hi-hat is the opens as well, okay? So make sure that opening really cleanly, okay? So you're getting a nice clean open and you're closing it at the right point as well to get a nice clean close, okay? So open on the and of 1 and the and of 3, so right on that open, right on that and as you hit it with the stick, and then you close right on the snare drum as you hit the backbeat, okay? So articulation as you play the hi-hat, and also as you open the hi-hat as well, okay? Make sure everything sounds clean and tidy. And beneath the pickup note there, you can see we've got MF, which is short for mezzo forte, which means half loud. So make sure we're playing at that dynamic. So remember, this is disco music, so half loud is still quite loud, okay? We wanna make sure we've got that solid bass drum sound, nice, steady, firm backbeat, okay? And we've got that hi-hat, the articulated hi-hat notes to really complement the feel of the music as well. All right, so just make sure you've got that nice balance of the kit. Remember, this is disco, so this is music to make people dance. So make sure you're thinking about that as you play this song, okay? So all these grooves have got to make people dance. So just make sure everything's solid and everything's sounding danceable. Let's try the whole of the intro. And now we'll try the intro in time with the backing track. Okay, so remember we've got a 2-bar counting, and we come in that second bar of the counting to play that pickup note on the and of 4. Okay, so make sure you come in at the right point and then keep that groove really solid and make sure you got that articulation on the hi-hat, just like you did when you played it without the backing track. Okay, and then you'll hear that bass drum, okay, lining up with the melody of the song. So make sure you're really playing that bass drum. All right, it's really clean. So remember, it's disco. You need that nice loud bass drum sound, loud backbeat, okay, and a little bit quieter on your hi-hats than the other 2 parts of the kit. So you really want to get a nice balance of the kit as well. Okay, so disco, solid kick and snare, nice hi-hat articulation as well, just to really complement the feel of the groove. All right, so let's try the intro in time with the backing track.
Freak out. Let's freak that shit. Freak out. Freak out. Let's freak that shit. Freak out. Have you heard?
And then we come into the next section of the song, which is the verse, which starts at bar 9. So you can see we've got the sign there. So we know we're going to be coming back to this point. Okay, so just register that for now. And then we've got a start repeat as well at the start of bar 9. So we know we're going to be coming back to repeat from this point as well, bar 9. Okay, so again, just make a note of that, a mental note of that. So this is a very similar 2-bar groove for this section. Okay, we've got similar hi-hat rhythm. We just got a slightly different bass drum rhythm. So the bass drum rhythm now is playing the 1 and the 3 in each bar, but we're also continuing to play that upbeat 4 every second bar. Okay, because it's the melody of the song. Okay, really important to hit the and of 4 every second bar. Okay, so looking at the hi-hat and snare drum rhythm, so in the 2 bars, you've got 8th notes on the 1 of the first bar. So you've got 1 and, crash is playing a downbeat of 1 to accentuate the start of the groove, then right hand plays the and of 1, drop right hand for 2, and then we've got 2/16 notes on the and of 2, just like we had in the previous section. We've got 3 and on the 3rd beat, again, just like we had in the previous section, and then we drop to play the 4 on the snare drum, 2/16 notes. So again, same start as the previous groove, but we're just changing that bass drum to play the 1, the 3, okay, so the 1 and the 3, so it's a more full kind of groove sound, so we've got 1 and 3. So let's try that first bar, bar 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then in the second bar, again, same thing, but we're just changing up the end there to play 2/16 notes on the upbeat 4 on the hi-hat. Okay, so in the previous section, we just had that 8th note playing the hi-hat on the and of 4 in the second bar of the groove, which is playing with the bass drum as well. So in this groove, we've got bass drum playing the and of 4, and we've got 2/16 notes on the hi-hat. Okay, so remember we've got the extra bass drum as well, playing the 1 and the 3. So let's try bar 2 now of the verse, which is bar 10 of the piece. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the 2-bar groove. So let's try both bars now together. 9 and 10. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so slight difference to the first section groove, but again, very similar. And then we've got the next 2 bars in bars 11 and 12 are the same, but because we're not accentuating the start there with a crash, all we're going to do is carry on playing the 2/16 notes and an 8th note rhythm on the hi-hat for the start of that 2-bar groove. Okay, so see your difference there, that first beat in bar 11, playing 2/16 and an 8th note, just like we had on the 3rd beat of the previous groove. Okay, so slightly different in that, just like with the first section, the first 2 bars are slightly different because you've got the pickup note starting the piece and then it settles into the 2-bar groove. In the verse here, the first 2 bars are slightly different in that the start of the 2-bar groove, we got the crash to start the verse, but then it settles into the groove there in the next 2 bars. Okay, so let's play bars 11 and 12 now to fill the 2-bar groove of the verse. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the 2-bar groove you want to get used to. So we want to loop that. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that and the 4, you're playing through it on the hi-hat. Okay, you're playing those 2/16 notes. So rather than stopping on it, you're playing through it. Okay, so that's the difference with this first groove. Okay, so really get comfortable with that 2-bar groove. And like I said, the 2 bars in bars 9 and 10 is the same groove, but you're just accentuating the start. So it's got a slightly different start. Okay, so really get used to bars 11 and 12. Okay, so the intro groove was bars 3 and 4. That's the actual groove, and you're just changing it in the first 2 bars. And then in this section, the verse, bars 11 and 12 is the 2-bar groove, and obviously it's just changing in the first 2 bars of the verse because we're starting with that crash. Okay, so once you're comfortable with the groove, you can look at the next line. So from bar 13, we've got slash notation all the way through the rest of the verse. Okay, so remember that gives you freedom to improvise. So it says cont sim there above bar 13, which is short for continua simile, which means continue in a similar way. So you want to continue with a similar groove. So you can play the same 2-bar groove if you like, or you can embellish the groove. Just make sure it's similar. Okay, you really want to stick to that bass drum rhythm because, like I said, that really complements the melody of the music. So if you move away from that too much, it won't really fit with the track. Okay, so if you're going to embellish the groove, I'll add some hi-hat notes. Okay, maybe some hi-hat opens. All right, if you want to embellish it. So we continue with a similar groove all the way to the final bar of the first page, which is bar 24. So you can see the number 16 there above bar 24. So that's the 16th bar of the verse. All right, and then you've got a 1-beat fill at the end of the verse. You've got 2 16th notes and an 8th note on the snare drum. So that'd be 4E and played right, left, right. Okay, so if we played the second bar of the groove, and then we come down to play that 4th beat as a fill, it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's what you want to get comfortable with for bar 16 there. Okay. And then looking at the start of the next page, you've got the first ending there. So the volta brackets covering the first line there. So you've got a 4-bar first ending. So we crash at the start of the first ending, bar 25A, and we're back to the rhythm we played in the intro. So you see it's got an emptier bass rhythm. So we're just playing that downbeat of 1 in the first bar, upbeat of 4 in the second bar again. Okay, we're crashing into this groove. Okay, so the 2 bars there in bars 25A and 26, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so again, a similar theme, you're just emptying out a little bit, okay, with the bass drum. And then in the next bar, you've got the first bar of that groove there, but you're not crashing into the start of it because you don't need to. And then in the next bar, which is bar 28, okay, it's 28A, you've got 3 16th notes on the 1 again, which is the same as the second bar of the groove. that you would have played anyway, and then we got a fill on beats 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so the fill is dotted 8th note and 16th note on the snare, which would be 2 played right, left. Then we got 3 E and on the snare drum, 2 16ths and an 8th note, 3 E and right, left, right. And then we got an 8th note and 2 16th notes on the upbeat for the 4. So that'd be 4 and right, right, left. So that 3 beat snare fill is 1. So 2, 3 and 4 and again we got that bass drum on the upbeat of 4, okay, because it's complements the melody, so it always needs to be there even if we're playing a fill. Okay, so those final 2 bars of the first ending, bars 27 and 28A, sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you play that backbeat on 2 in bar 28A, and then that starts to fill, okay, that backbeat. Alright, so you want to get used to those 2 bars, and then the whole of the first ending, so those 4 bars, 25, 26, 27, and 28A, sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you see how, just like in the intro, every second bar where that bass drum plays the upbeat, you've got an 8th note on it again there. So you're not playing through it with 2 16th notes like you did in the verse. So you want to get used to that subtle change, okay? So there's subtle changes in the groove, but the subtle changes make the section sound different, okay? So they're really important that you get used to these subtle changes to really change up the groove, which changes up the sound for that section of the song. Okay, so really important just to see these little nuances in the groove. Okay, so that's the whole of the first ending. At the end of the first ending, you see the end repeat sign there. So that's the end of the first ending, the end of the first verse. So we're going to try the whole of verse 1 now. So we're going to go from bar 9 all the way to the end of the first ending, which is bar 28A. Okay, so let's get that flowing all the way through verse 1. And now we'll try verse 1 in time with the backing track. Okay, so remember it's disco, keep everything neat and tidy, so you just want to keep a solid 2-bar groove for this verse. Make sure if you improvise and embellish the groove, you're continuing with a similar groove, a similar feel. Okay, you get that nice clean feel at the end of the first page in bar 16 of the groove, and then make sure you're changing comfortably into the first ending where the groove empties out. Okay, the bass drum rhythm changes and the hi-hat rhythm changes as well slightly, okay. End with that nice feel at the end of the verse, which will obviously take us into the next section of the song nicely. Okay, so keep everything clean and tidy. Keep it at mezzo forte. So remember, we're still at mezzo forte for the verse as well. So we're at half loud. So let's try verse now in time with the backing track.
Freak out. Have you heard about the new dance craze? Listen to us, I'm sure you'll be amazed. Big fun to be had by everyone. It's up to you, it surely can be done. Young and old are doing it, I'm told. Just one try and you too will be sold. It's called the freak, they're doing it night and day. Allow us, we'll show you the way. Freak out, the freak, they're chic. Freak out, all that pressure.
So we've got an end repeat sign at the end of the first ending, which takes us back to the start repeat sign at the start of the verse. So we play through the verse again after the end of ending 1 there to play verse 2. Okay, so obviously we play the same thing. All right, so we can embellish the groove again in the second verse if we want to, or we can continue to play the same 2-bar groove. Then we got the fill in bar 16 of the verse again, which is bar 24 of the piece. and then we come into ending 2, which starts at bar 25B. Okay, so we've got the 2 there in volta brackets letting us know it's ending 2. Now for ending 2, you're playing the same thing you did in ending 1 with slight differences. So the first difference is you don't crash into the start of ending 2 there. So you just carry on with a closed hi-hat there at the start of ending 2. And at the end of ending 2, you've got a slightly different fill. Okay, so you've still got a 3-beat fill starting on the 2. So we come down to play that backbeat on the 2 with the right hand. This time it's a quarter note, and then we've got 2 16th notes on the downbeat of 3, so that'd be 3E played right left. So we've got the sticking above the notes there, right left. And then we've got a bass drum playing the and of 3, and then we got 4 with the right hand for an 8th note, 2 16th notes right left on the snare as well. So that 3-beat fill coming in on the 2 sounds like this. 1. So it's 2, 3 and 4 and So adding that into the 2-bar grid, so we're going to play those 2 bars now at the end of ending 2, which are bars 27 and 28B. Okay, so they sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so remember that backbeat starts the fill at the end there. Okay, and just make sure you hold that quarter note on the 2 there. You're not too soon in with the rest of the fill. So really make sure you hold that for a quarter note, that downbeat of 2. Okay, so the whole of ending 2 sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if you're comfortable with that, we're going to put it all together with the rest of verse 2. Okay, so we're going to go from the start of bar 9 and we're going to play through with the second ending. Okay, so after we hit bar 24, we go to ending 2 at 25B and we play 26, 27 and 28B as well. Okay, so that line there. All right, so let's try verse 2. And now we'll try verse 2 in time with the backing track. Okay, so just like you did with verse 1, keep everything neat and tidy and disco sounding. Make people dance with your groove. Okay, and then just make sure you got a nice clean finish with ending 2 there, making sure not to crash at the start of ending 2 like you did in ending 1. So we're on a closed hi-hat there, and we just make sure we're going to be neat and tidy with that fill, making sure the kick there doesn't affect the flow of those notes. Okay, so we've got a nice linear fill there at the end there. So let's try verse 2 now in time with the backing track.
Freak out. All that pressure got you down. Has your head spinning all around. Feel the rhythm, chant the rhyme. Come on along and have a real good time. Like the days of stumping at the Savoy. Now we're free. Oh, what a joy. Just come on down to the 54. Find a spot out on the floor. Freak out. Let's freak, say chic. Freak out.
And now we're moving to the next section of the song, which is the bass solo, which starts at bar 29. Okay, so this is a really funky section of the song. Okay, so as it's the bass solo, we just need to support the soloist. Okay, so we just want to play a really rock steady groove. Okay, so we've got a 2-bar groove again. We've got the same bass drum rhythm that we played in the verse. Okay, so we've got 2 bars, bass drum playing the 1 and the 3 in the first bar, the 1 and the 3 in the second bar, and also the and of 4. Okay, with the hands, we're playing upbeats, so all the ands with the right hand on the hi-hat, and we're playing the snare drum backbeat on 2 and 4. Okay, so we get the hand rhythm down, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so hitting those upbeats, okay, to really kind of give it that funky sound, offbeat sound. Putting in the bass drum as well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's nearly a linear groove, but it's not quite linear because that last note on the under 4 in the second bar there, we're playing 2 notes together, the hi-hat and the bass drum, okay? But it has got a linear sound, which gives it a nice feel in this funky section. And beneath bar 29, we've got MP there, which is short for mezzo piano, which means half soft. So we need to bring the dynamic down. Okay, so one of the other technical focus elements in this piece is a drive at lower dynamic. So we drop the dynamic to mezzo piano, but we still need some intensity to this section. Okay, so we still need to give it drive. So we can do that by keeping the hi-hat articulated, which is harder at a lower dynamic. Okay, so make sure we're still getting good sound from the hi-hat, nice and neat on top of the cymbal. And also just make sure you've got nice balance with the kit again. Okay, so bass, snare and hi-hat at the right dynamics to really complement the feel of the music. So remember, solid kick and snare, just make sure that hi-hat playing in between there at a slightly lower volume than the bass and snare, but it's still loud enough to really be a big part of the groove. Okay, so make sure you're doing that in this section. Okay, so again, get technical and develop your technical areas of your drumming. And then we've got a 2-bar repeat there in the next 2 bars. So we repeat the 2-bar groove. And then we've got another 2-bar repeats there. So we've got 3 2-bar repeats. So we play the 2-bar groove bars 29 and 30 4 times for that line there. So we play it once through, and then we've got 3 2-bar repeats. And then we come down to the next line. So at bar 37, where we got another 2-bar groove. So bars 37 and 38. We've got the same bass drum rhythm for this 2-bar groove. All that's changing is the subdivision on the hi-hat. So we're playing 16th notes down with alternate stick in. So right, left, snares dropping to play the backbeat with the right hand on 2 and 4 again. So that 2-bar groove in 37 and 38 sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so get the 2-bar groove down, then you want to loop it, okay, to get comfortable with that groove. So you want to loop the previous groove as well. So really get comfortable with these 2-bar grooves. Then after bar 38, we've got slash notation, and it says cont sim. So again, continue assimile, so continue in a similar way. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars of slash notation there that we can continue with a similar groove. So you can play the same groove, or you can embellish the same groove. So you want to just keep it similar. So like I said before, keep that bass drum steady, okay, that bass drum rhythm, because that really complements the feel of the song. So you don't want to change that too much, but feel free to change up the hi-hat a little bit when you embellish the groove for the slash notation. And then in the final 2 beats of bar 44, we've got fill written above the slashes there. So we just need to finish with a 2-beat fill there. Okay, so make sure you're coming in at the right point there with a fill. Any fill you want to play that is fitting with the music. And that brings us to the end of the bass solo section. Okay, so you've got the double bar line there. Okay, so we're going to put together the whole bass solo section now. So make sure you bring the dynamic down to mezzo piano. Okay, so half soft. So remember, it's only 1 level drop, so you don't want to bring it down too much, but make sure you are bringing it down, but keep that intensity and drive, okay? So to do that, keep the articulation of the hi-hat there and the balance of the kit, okay? The sound of the bass, snare and hi-hat. Make sure the balance is right to really give it that intensified driving feel in this section, okay? So really make sure you're still grooving, because like I said, this is the funky section. So let's try the whole bass solo now, bars 29 to 44. And now we'll try the bass solo section in time with the backing track. Okay, so really support the soloist with a steady groove, keep it funky, okay, make sure all the notes are in the right place and you're keeping that articulation and driving feel, okay, keep the intensified energy, okay, keep people dancing, keep it funky, let's try bass solo section in time with the backing track.
Freak out. All that pressure.
And at the end of the bass solo section, so the end of bar 44, it says DS al Coda, which is short for Del Segno al Coda, which means go back to the sign, which we saw at the start of the verse of bar 9. Okay, and we play through the verse again for verse 3. And then when we come to bar 16 of the verse, which is bar 24, you can see there we hit the 1 beat fill at the end of the bar there, so the 40 and above that it says to Coda with a coda sign. So after we hit that fill at the bottom of the first page, we jump to the coda, which is starts at bar 45 there on page 2. Okay, so the coda, very similar to the intro and the first and second ending of the verse, where the bass drum plays that empty 1 and a 4 in the second bar. Okay, and then all that happens is we change it up in the final line of the coda to play 4 on the floor. Okay, so the 4 on the floor over the 2 bar groove there at bar 49 and 50. So it sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so again, we still got that and a 4 in the second bar there, but now we're hitting all 4 downbeats on the bass drum. Okay, so 4 on the floor, really common in disco music. So a nice ending to this song by adding in that 4 on the floor there. So you want to get that 2 bar groove down in bars 49 and 50. Okay, make sure you're really comfortable playing all 4 bass drums there. And then obviously still playing that and a 4 every second bar. And then you just want to make sure you're comfortable with the transition as well from the previous line, okay, where we're just playing the downbeat 1 first bar, upbeat 4 second bar. So what we'll do is we'll try the final 2 bars of the previous line, so bars 47 and 48, and then the first 2 bars of the second line, bars 49 and 50, just get that transition of the 2 grooves. So it sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so make sure you can play the grooves individually and also transition from one to the other. And in the next bar, which is bar 51, we've got the first bar of the groove there, the first bar of the 4 on the floor groove. And in the next bar, 52, we've got the first beat of the groove. Okay, then we hit the back beat on 2 on the snare drum. We hold it for a quarter note, and then we've got a fill. So the fill here, we've got a dotted 8th note on the medium tom on the 3, so that'd be right hand. Then we've got a 16th note on the floor tom. On the out of 3, that'd be left hand. And then we've got a 4 on the floor tom playing an 8th note, so another floor tom there, right hand. Then we come across to the snare to play the and a 4 with the left hand. And then the final note in the last bar is the downbeat of 1, right hand for a quarter note on the snare. So that fill, starting on the 3, we got 1, 2. So 3, a 4, and 1. Okay, and we've got a bass drum playing that upbeat of 4 again, so that would be with the snare drum. And then we got it on the downbeat of 1 on the final note. Okay, so it carries on that theme where that we played throughout the whole song. So adding in those 2 bass drums for that fill, starting on the 3 again. 1, 2. Okay, and on those final 2 notes, the upbeat of 4 and the downbeat of 1, we've got accents. We need to hit them with more emphasis, more force, more stress. Okay, so they really stand out. So adding the accents in, we got 1, 2. Okay, so the final 3 bars sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you want to put the whole coda together, get comfortable with the whole coda. So let's try the whole coda now. Put it all together, so bar 45 to the end of the piece. So now we'll try to put the whole final verse together. So we're going to go from bar 9. So from the sign, we're going to play through until we get sent to the coda, which is at the end of bar 24. Then we're going to play the coda, okay, to finish. So make sure you got the transition from the verse groove into the slightly different groove at the start of the coda, and you've also got the transition into the final groove of the coda where we're playing the 4 on the floor. Okay, so we need those 2 transitions there. Okay, get comfortable with those. So let's try the whole of verse 3 now. Let's put it all together. And now we'll try verse 3 now in time with a backing track. Okay, so just like before, keep a solid groove through the verse and just make sure we've got a nice clean ending. So nice clean transitions from the grooves, and we've got a nice clean finish with the fill, okay, finishing with those 2 accents. Okay, so let's try that in time with a backing track.
All that pressure got you down as your head spinning all around. Feel the rhythm, chant the rhyme. Come on along and have a real good time. Like the days of something at the Savoy. Now we're free. Oh, what a joy. Just come on down to the 54. Find your spot out on the floor. Freak out. Let's freak, say chic. Freak out. Freak out. Let's freak, say chic. Freak out. Freak out.
So now we're going to put the whole piece together, so make sure you're comfortable transitioning from one section of the song to the other. Once you can do that and you're comfortable, put it all together, okay? So we're going to flow through the whole song now. Just make sure we can go all the way through with no problems. Keep it really smooth, so remember it's disco music. Let's put it all together. So now we'll try the whole piece in time with the backing track. Okay, so remember it's disco music, so keep it danceable, keep it upbeat, really feel good vibes. Okay, make sure balance of the kit is good, solid bass drum, solid backbeat, really articulate on the hi-hat. Okay, and just make sure you got the dynamic change into the bass solo as well. So drop the dynamic down, but don't lose that intensified energy and also the driving feel. Okay, so remember to do that, just keep the articulation there. Okay, and keep good balance on the kit. Okay, so you don't want to lose that articulation and things kind of sound small and sloppy. Okay, so keep it all articulate when you drop the dynamic as well. All right, so let's try and work this through with the backing track. Let's have some fun.
Up.